If your mind's running circles again, second guessing every word you said, take a breath, reset your track. You don't need to hold yourself back. Stop overthinking, start connecting. Confidence maxing.
Okay, so we are doing a live stream test. This is my first ever live stream. I'm gonna hang out with you for a couple minutes, mainly to check and see if I, number one, know how to do any of this, and two, kind of check the audio and see how everything works. And so it's my very first live stream. What you just saw was the jingle I created for my book, Confidence Maxing. And the more I play it, the more you'll find yourself starting to hum it while you're doing the dishes or whatever it happens to be. So as a part of this live stream, what I'd like to do is, since it's going to be a pretty short one, I'm going to show you something that I've been working on that I think is pretty cool. So I've gotten into a little bit of vibe coding lately. If you see my baseball game updates, then you know that's true. But I've also created something that has been really helpful from a productivity standpoint. So we're going to switch to the whiteboard here. That is my iPad camera. And so I'm going to walk you through it. I think it's pretty cool. The problem I was trying to solve with this was a really simple problem, and that was I would find, like, I have a difficult time with prioritization, and I just noticed that there are all these productivity apps and to-do apps and all this kind of stuff out there, and they all weren't simple enough. Like I needed something that was incredibly simple, and I also needed something that would allow me to picture what the next step was. So the next step or the first step, right? Because if I didn't know what that step was, then it was really difficult for me to simply know how to get started, right? And also, this is a page out of Scott Adams' book when he had that video talking about how to cure laziness, and he posited that what if the cure for laziness is simply focusing more on the payoff of a task rather than the effort of the task. So I'm going to show you what this app is like in practice. And so as it stands here, you can't download this app. This is literally I'm the only one in the world using this app, but I think it's pretty cool. So you have your 3 to do. So you mark down 3 important tasks that you're going to do on a on a daily basis, and ideally you block those tasks in the night before, right? Because ideally you don't want to have to be thinking about, what should I do the morning of, right? So you block those tasks in. As you see here, I've already completed 2 out of my 3. Put a new battery in the mower, and got a new local PO box. For stuff like that, you're running errands and stuff, and so you don't need any sort of a focus mode. But for this work on Confidence Maxing Live, this is the test stream of that. So if we hit start task, what we'll see happen in about 20 seconds is a screen will pop up that I call focus mode. And what this means is, like, if you have your phone on a charger next to your computer, if you're working, you're presented with a very minimal, very beautiful, in my opinion, screen where you can literally just have it. It tells you what the task is, and it tells you the first step. So in my case, it's kind of getting a plan of how to stream together on Perplexity, which has been really helpful. But then you'll notice it fades, and it gives me a payoff. I will feel good knowing that I'm working on a controllable distribution project. So this allows me to focus on, I think it does a couple of things actually. One is it allows me to focus on the payoff. Why am I doing what I'm doing? That's straight out of Scott Adams. But two, it there's like a little subtle discouragement from using your phone. Sometimes you'll have to use your phone because the thing you need is on there, right? But you'll have your phone probably on a charger or something like that right next to your computer. You'll see that, and it'll constantly be beating you in the face of like, hey, this is the thing that you need to do. This is the thing that you've already decided. You probably decided yesterday that you needed to do this thing. And I've noticed that that's been really helpful. What you'll also see here, I'll zoom in a little bit. You'll see that there is a timer. And now, for me, that's actually really helpful. I don't know what it is about just having a timer. Like this timer is counting up, it's not counting down. And so there's something about a running timer that really helps me focus on the thing that I'm trying to do and get started. And like, oh, I want this timer to reflect accuracy of what I'm trying to do. So say that you're done with the task or you need to pause, so you can pause it where that timer is going to stop in the background. You can resume it. You could skip it if you want to, but I'll show you why you wouldn't want to do that in a second. And then more often than not, you just hit done. And then so here I've got all my tasks completed, and now I'm free to plan tomorrow's tasks. I've set it up where if by 8 p.m. I haven't input any tasks for the following day, it's going to bug me. Like it'll send me a notification at 8 p.m. Hey, you haven't locked in your tasks for tomorrow, which I find that pretty helpful too. But that ring is closed. And as we see here, I've got a 1-day streak going. Now, why only a 1-day streak? Well, if I swipe up from the bottom here, you'll see that I was actually doing really well, and I had a bunch of tasks over the last, say 10 days where, a little finicky still, where I had completed these tasks, which is great. But you also see the last couple days I fell off because I got really sidetracked on this Confidence Maxing Live thing. So I wanted to focus on that. And so I didn't get some things done. And I noticed, I don't know if you're this way, but I am, where if I get really excited about a streak, but if that streak is broken, then it's kind of like the broken window theory, where there's just a broken window in a neighborhood, and so worse and worse crimes will be committed. Where I'll say, that streak is done. My task completion percentage up in the upper corner there, it dropped from 100 to 93. So to me, mentally, that's not helpful. That's not good. And so I created something where if you do miss a day and rings are not closed in, then the next day it'll tell you, hey, it'll have a big card at the top of the app, and it'll say, you need to start a new streak. And so that's where I came up with the idea of collapse the past history, right? Because I don't want to view past times when I wasn't successful. I want to view times when I was successful, because in my opinion, that's more important. If you've read my book, then you'll understand why that is. But this allows me to kind of wipe the slate clean and focus on the new streak that I'm currently creating, which in my opinion is incredibly helpful. And so that's the main screen. I'll also show you one other cool thing that I think is pretty cool. So I came up with a frequent tasks, call it a drawer or call it a section. So the frequent tasks are just tasks that you've done at least 2 times. I think that's how it's programmed in. And what's helpful about that is that, say that, tomorrow's Saturday, so I've got some family coming in town, and I'm probably not going to be doing any of these tasks tomorrow, but I'll give you one for an example. So say that I wanted to work more on Confidence Maxing Live. I can just long press, and then that's going to add that task to tomorrow. And so I can just go through and I can long press on sort of those frequent tasks. But this is actually pretty cool in my opinion. I'll zoom in here. So let's see. Usually takes. And so there are usually takes values in time for the task. So that particular task that I just added usually takes 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 1 second, because it's going off of sort of a, called an average of the average time it's taking you to complete that task. I do have it programmed in where it's discarding really low values or really high values, because I don't want that to throw it off. And so say that you the task usually takes you a couple hours, but for whatever reason you start that task and then you end it and it takes 1 second. I don't want that throwing off your average. And so that's the frequent tasks area. And other than that, that's about it. I think it's pretty cool. And I switch back to the main camera here. I think it's pretty cool. I have not seen anything like this out there. I've been sharing it with a buddy, and he keeps asking, when are you gonna make it so that I can test this thing out? And so actually, hopefully pretty soon. There's still just a couple little kinks that I'm finding. One interesting thing about vibe coding, I would tell you I'm super novice at it, but I've noticed that just in, call it internal testing, the more you use something, you end up finding a lot of edge case scenarios where you're like, oh, it didn't quite work in this really specific situation. And so I'm trying to squash as many of those bugs as possible so that it doesn't become a problem if the app were to, get in the hands of 100 or 1,000 more people, right? And so that's what I got. We're going to keep this pretty short, pretty sweet, and I'm going to see if I can remember how to close everything out correctly. If this ends up being fun for you and fun for me, I'm probably going to do more of these, but I think this has been a pretty successful test. And other than that, I'll play the jingle again, and then that's what's going to play us out.
If your mind's running circles again, second guessing every word you said, take a breath, reset your track, you don't